Greetings, everybody. It's Dr. Eshman coming to you from RCS, our beautiful campus here in Loveland, Colorado. And boy, do I have an exciting announcement to talk to you about today. If you had a chance to listen to the State of the School address, we laid out in that address the Rise Up Vision campaign. And each letter of the phrase Rise Up is a different element of the vision. So Rise Up has 6 letters in it. Our vision has 6 elements to it. And one of those elements is programming. And one of the things that we're doing today and what we're talking about today is a new item for our school's programming. What are we going to do with our school's programming? How are we going to look at our school? What are we going to do with our school in the future? And I do indeed have an exciting announcement for you. And that is this. Starting next year, and probably for about the next 2 years, it's going to take us some time to roll this out. It is a big plan and a big program for our school. But we're going to be introducing something to RCS called the Cougar Institute. Now, what the Cougar Institute is this. It is a reimagining, if you will, a repackaging of what high school looks like in particular. Now, it affects high school directly, but there'll be implications through middle school and even down into elementary school. So let me kind of explain to you here briefly what it's going to consist of. Now, let me tell you this too. We're going to be doing a full-blown announcement and a full-blown presentation to our parents and also to our students here very near in the future in the spring semester. But I wanted to kind of get this information to you now because it is very exciting and I want to give you something to look forward to here in the very near future. All right, so here we go. So the first thing is this. I want you to think of Cougar Institute as sort of like it was when you were in college. And if you remember at your university, inside your university, you had colleges and schools. You had the College of Dentistry, the School of Business, maybe the School of Education, the College of Marketing. Whatever you may have had, you had those different colleges and schools inside the university. We're going to do the same thing here at RCS. Inside our high school, inside this thing called Cougar Institute, we're going to have 5 different academies. The Academy of Business, Humanities, Fine Arts, Math and Engineering, and Health Sciences. Now, just like you had at your college, in your university, you had colleges and schools, and inside those colleges and schools, you had majors and minors. We'll have something very similar inside each of our academies, but it's called a specialization. And all a specialization is a 4-course cluster built around the career interests that your child may potentially have. So how it's going to work is this. So here at RCS, it takes 26 credits to graduate from high school. So every student will take the first 22 credits, the Cougar Core, we're calling them. Those are your general eds, if you will. And then what they'll do is somewhere along maybe their junior year, maybe their sophomore year, perhaps the spring semester of their sophomore year, certainly somewhere in their junior year, the fall of their junior year, our students will declare what academy they want to go in, and in particular, what specialization they want to go in. In each of these academies, we'll have multiple specializations. These are pre-canned, pre-made, 4-course clusters, again, around a career interest that a child may have later in life. And so along about the end of their sophomore year into their junior year, they'll declare their academy. They'll also declare their specialization. Now, for those of you who may be concerned, well, what if my child doesn't know what they want to do? What if they're not sure what they want to do just yet? No fear. We have another specialization called the interdisciplinary specialization that will allow that child to pick and choose 4 courses from across our entire course offerings. So they could choose a course here and a course there and a course there. They can basically custom build their courses and their program and then submit that to us and we approve that and they're good to go. Also keep in mind too, in this process, we want to make sure that we are a good curator of course content. So not only will children be able to take the courses that we offer here physically on campus, but we're also in the process of curating course content from other providers, a lot of online providers. So for instance, you already know that children can take classes from Grand Canyon University online. We also have different programs and sources out there right now for online courses. We also have CEC, Front Range, Ames, different places like that they can take courses. So again, if they don't like the course clusters that we have here in school, they can reach out, find the courses that they like, submit those 4 courses to us to approve. We'll approve those things, and then they can move forward with that. The whole idea is this. We want to maximize their voice and choice in their high school program. So that's one element that I want to introduce to you today, is the idea of these academies, these specializations. How will the courses work? What are the courses made out of? What are these specializations made out of, and so forth. Another element of the Cougar Institute is going to be this idea of internships. So when they get toward their senior year, one of the things we're going to focus on is this whole thing of internships, making sure that they have the opportunity to go out into the workforce and see what it's like to do that job. It may consist of doing internships. Maybe it'll consist of just job shadowing. Maybe it'll consist of doing action research on a particular career interest that they have. We want to make sure that students have the opportunity to go out in the world, see what it's like, test it, see what they're doing, if they're going to like it, and learn those valuable skills, and then confirm what it is they feel God telling them to do. So we have internships as well involved in this. Another element of Cougar Institute is this idea of symposia. Now what symposia is this guest speaker series. And so what we want to do inside each academy is we want to make sure that we have a steady stream of guest speakers coming to speak to them. And what we would love to do is use you as parents to speak to our students. We know that many of you are involved in various areas across these academies that I've mentioned. You're involved in various careers in various areas, and we would love for you to come and speak to our students. And if it's not our parents, we'll also have outside sources come in as well. Outside experts come in and speak to our students. But the point is when we have a symposia, the idea is we want to have in each academy, ideally, we would love to have at least one symposia per semester. If we can do one per quarter, that's going to even be better. But in these symposia, the guest speaker will come in, and he or she will begin speaking to that class or to that academy about the issue. So let's say, for example, I'm a bank president, and I come into the business academy and I speak to those students about what it means to be in the banking industry, interest rates, how China affects our economy, how the economy is doing, how jobs affect the economy, so forth, the banking industry overall. I'll share all those details. But I'll also talk about what it means to be a Christian in this field and the stresses and so forth that I feel as a Christian, and there are the challenges to being a Christian in this field, and what does that look like? So the idea is we want to make sure that our students have the opportunity to see what it's like to work in that field. And then when that presenter is done presenting, there'll be the opportunity to ask them questions for follow-up, for Q&A, and so forth. And we'll also be asking our presenters to make sure they also talk about, what would they do over again? What would they focus on in school if they could go back to school? What mistakes did they make that we can now fix later in life? So we have the opportunity to really learn from you, from these guest speakers, inside this idea of the symposia. So not only do we have a lot of these other elements that I've talked about, the academies, the guest speakers, the specializations, the unique ways in which courses can be gathered together and applied to your child's education program for matriculation and ultimately for graduation. Not only do we have all of that stuff, but wait, there's more. One of the key elements of this whole program is for the children to become more self-aware about who they are and who they are becoming. So one of the things that we'll have throughout this program, and this is where we definitely start to pull in not only the high school, but even the middle school, is we're going to have a series of items in which they can become self-aware. They can learn about their gifts and their talents. So beginning at about the 6th grade and moving all the way through high school, students will begin taking various surveys and inventories and batteries, special interest items to understand who it is that they are and what they're about, and how are they different, and what's their style and their temperament and their personality, their career ideas, and what do they want to do with their career, and what skills do they possess, and so forth. All of it is designed to help them become simply more self-aware, who they are in Christ. What is God telling them to do? Are they listening for His voice? What does He desire for them to do? How has He uniquely gifted them and given them unique talents and abilities? And the beautiful thing about this is, as you well know, a lot of children deal with self-esteem issues, right? They look at each other, they look at one another, and they think, well, I'm not as smart as him, and I'm not as pretty as her, and I'm not as talented as that person is. And the beautiful thing about becoming more self-aware is that the children are going to understand, listen, I'm different than you, you're different than me, and that's okay. That's the way God made us to be, and that's all right. You have your path, and I have mine. Clearly, He has a plan for my life. I see it here. So that's going to be an exciting thing for the children to understand who they are, what they're about, to begin to understand what God's plan is for their life. So the self-awareness piece is going to be huge for us as well. And then as we move further on, one of the cool things about Cougar Institute is as they get closer to their graduation time, and in fact when they do graduate, we'll sit them actually in academies. If you recall, when you graduated from your university or your college, you probably sat by your college or your school inside there. You sat as a group, and if you recall, we also had those colored stoles. We also wore those colored shawls when we graduated. And what happens is we'll do the same thing. We'll start having our students sit by academy with their colored stoles, and then we will then have them sit in alphabetical order, and we'll call up each academy one at a time. We'll give them their diplomas, and they'll be able to walk the stage and begin to feel like what it's like to be in college and to be ready for that college feel. So we've got so many exciting things going on with this Cougar Institute. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but I wanted to kind of give you this indication that this is a sign of things to come. We're going to be rolling this out starting this coming fall, the fall of 2021. And in that fall, it'll take us, no doubt, probably a good year or two to roll out all the pieces and parts of this. Now, unfortunately, our seniors, who are seniors right now during this school year, it's going to be a little too late for them. Our juniors, you're going to be able to experience some of this. Definitely, though, for our sophomores and freshmen on down, you'll definitely be able to experience what the Cougar Institute is going to be about. But I want you to stay tuned for more exciting announcements about Cougar Institute because it is going to be amazing and it is going to be exciting. So we just encourage you to stay tuned. We'll have more information this coming semester, in the spring semester. We'll do our goal there is to do a full-blown presentation for you. We might be able to do it face-to-face. We'll see what COVID allows, but we'll certainly do it through Zoom. And we'll lay out there, we'll have slides and different things to walk you through this and to show you this. But I'm telling you, this is an exciting announcement. It will revolutionize and change how we do education. Certainly in the high school, have some very clear implications in middle school, and even implications down into the elementary school. These are exciting days to be a Cougar. You want your child to be here. It's going to be great. We love you. We appreciate you. Stay tuned for more exciting things to come. We'll be in touch. God bless.